Welcome back to Ironsworn, Rime the Frostmaiden. This is episode 18. In our last episode, Karl and Haf explored an ice cave where there were some fishermen who were hopefully going to tell them some information about where they had maybe seen Bridget, because these are knowledgeable people about the lake. And Bridget had disappeared in a blizzard near the lake after escaping from the Duergar. Well, they found the fishermen. They were dead, having been slain by this creature that was eating them, and they fought her off as well as a frost giant skeleton. They found this massive cauldron of stew, which they hauled back to East Haven, gave it to the sheriff. The sheriff told them that she is interested in questioning a caravan, Torg's caravan, which we know also has Sefik Caltro accompanying it. The caravan, they were told, was headed to Goodmead, and so Karl and Haf crossed the road down from East Haven to Goodmead. It's only 4 hours, so I don't think we're going to do and undertake a journey for that. Goodmead is a small town that is famous for its mead, which it ships all over 10 towns. Karl and Haf therefore head to the mead hall to talk to people and see what's what, hopefully find out about Torg's caravan. Once Karl and Haf get to the mead hall, they're talking to people. Karl kind of instinctively asks, "Oh, have you seen a girl?" and describes Bridget. And a few of the townsfolk actually say, "Oh yeah, she stumbled into town a couple of days ago." And Karl's like, wait, really? Where is she? "Oh, she got on the cart that was taking mead up to Bryn Shander." Karl says, that's great news. I guess I can catch up with them. They must be going pretty slow. The townsfolk kind of look between each other, and one of them kind of says, I hate to tell you this, but the cart got attacked and the mead was stolen. We don't know what happened with the people who were there. We sent out the militia to investigate, but they haven't come back. Maybe where the mead has been taken, my sister has also been taken. I'm going to vow to you to return your mead to you, and in so doing, hopefully find out more about where my sister is." Karl holds on to his axe blade and swears a vow to return the mead to Goodmead. That is a weak hit, which gives him a little momentum, and he doesn't really know where to go. I mean, I guess the road to Bryn Shander is where they got attacked, but where they've been taken now, it's difficult to say. So he and Haf get their gear up and head out of town. Returning the mead is just going to be a troublesome quest. Hopefully nothing or nobody particularly dangerous has it. We'll find out. On their way out of town, a figure in cold weather gear lurches out of the woods into plain view, running as fast as he can through the deep snow. Slung over his back are a pair of animal traps, one of which appears to contain a panicked fox. Karl draws up and says, "Whoa, hey, where are you going? What's happening?" The fellow says, "I was out checking my traps in the woods. I came upon this gruesome scene. All these militiamen been killed. Came back here, run and tell the folks." Karl said, "Oh, okay, great. Can you take us to them? We're trying to find the town's mead and maybe my sister." The fellow says, "No way, you ain't getting me back there." And he runs off towards the mead hall to tell everybody else. But this is a good lead, and we can follow this guy's tracks. So we're going to go ahead and do that. This is going to be a gather information to follow the tracks through the woods here. On a strong hit, we get a little momentum and we get detailed information. Well, we already knew the guy was alone, and we are able to successfully follow his tracks to a gruesome scene. Deep in the woods, amid the snow-covered pines, you discover the remains of 5 militia members. They look like they were clubbed to death. New fallen snow has already begun to settle on the corpses. Karl and Haf look at this carnage, don't see his sister anywhere, but there is evidence of some tracks here. And on that strong hit on the gather information, they see that these tracks are giant-sized. Karl and Haf have never faced off with a giant. They faced off against that skeleton thing, which is still shaking them up. They don't know much about giants, so they're going to go ahead and follow these tracks. It's the only lead they've got. And I think that they also see that there are some cartwheel tracks in the snow, which suggests the cart that the mead was on. Karl and Haf follow the tracks through the snow to the entrance to a cave. The trail culminates at a rocky hillside with pines growing around its base. Set in the hill are 3 caves. The frozen creek emerges from the west cave, which is a low-hanging mouth. The center cave, an 8-foot-high passage hewn from the rock, is moderately blocked by a tall stand of conifers and 2 massive fallen logs. The northeast cave has a big yawning mouth, and flickers of light emanate from within. The tracks of your quarry head through this entrance. Well, that's good, but I think that they're not just going to go charging right in. They're going to go ahead and explore around a little bit, check out what all is here. We're going to mark progress because we followed these tracks and hopefully have found the mead. The information complicates your quest. Well, I think the complication is that they find another entrance into this cave system. Half submerged in the icy mire are the bones, skull, and tusks of a long dead mammoth. Beyond these remains is a yawning cave mouth. So now there's 4 possible caves to go in. They're just going to go follow the tracks in towards the light. Creeping quietly here, they enter a firelit cave. A bonfire in the center of the cave keeps it lit and relatively warm. The scent of roasting meat fills the air as a hunk of meat on a spit drips juices onto the fire. Goats and sheep are held in a spacious animal pen enclosed by a crude wooden fence. Other features of the cave include a wooden cart with a broken wheel, 2 crates, and 2 barrels. Well, we found the cart. That's good. Let's check the barrels, opening them up. It's salt and pepper and spices, not the mead. More importantly, nowhere is Bridget to be seen. They're going to go ahead and creep northeast through that cave. This dead-end cavern has a crudely excavated 10-foot wide pit in the middle of the floor. It's filled with bones and refuse and all kinds of other muck. So that's not helpful. They're going to go back and head to the north. A heavy snore comes from a fat, battle-scarred ogre sitting against the wall with its chin on its chest. A thin stream of drool rolls from its mouth onto its blood-stained leather loincloth. On the floor at its feet is a bloody great club with tufts of hair and bits of metal stuck in it. Suspended from the ceiling of this chamber by a series of ropes and pulleys are 6 baskets. Clustered near the south wall are 3 wooden casks with Goodmead's heraldic symbol, a drinking mug made from a cut-off section of horn with an antler handle added, upright and centered. Well, that seems promising for the mead. No evidence of Bridget or anybody here, and that sleeping ogre we don't want to mess with. We probably can't do anything about the mead with that ogre just kind of hanging out here. So they're going to creep back out. There's going to be a face danger with stealth. As they try creeping out, Karl accidentally barks his shin on a bit of rock, muffles his outburst. Nonetheless, the ogre stirs and wakes up, jumps to its feet, grabs its great club, says, "Me friend," and charges at them. This is a dangerous foe, and we miss on our enter the fray. Not only does the opponent have the initiative, but I think Karl is absolutely rattled seeing this ogre, who's clearly killed a bunch of people already, lumber to its feet and charge at them. So we're going to suffer some stress. Fortunately, get a strong hit, so he's able to steel himself as the ogre brings its great club down to bear on them. A weak hit on a clash, so Karl manages to sidestep the first swing of the great club, hacks at the ogre's knee with his axe, clips it a little bit, but then the ogre hits him on the back swing and nails him on the side of his body. He gets a weak hit on his endure harm, though, so he's able to press on. He gestures for Haf to stab the ogre in the back. Another weak hit on clash. Haf is moved around and stabs the ogre in the back. It roars and turns around and clubs at Haf. Haf gets thudded into, and we get a little bit of a hit to our momentum as he misses on his endure harm. Karl, seeing the ogre distracted, tries to bring his axe down on its arm to break its arm so it can at least let go of this damn great club. That's a strong hit. We take the initiative, we take some momentum, and we are going to end this fight. Another strong hit. So Karl smashes down on the ogre's arm. It roars in pain, lets go of its great club, and Haf is able to stick his spear into the ogre's throat. It gurgles, takes a few faltering steps, and then collapses. Karl and Haf are breathing heavily. They got really lucky on that fight. Nobody seems to have noticed so far, which is great, but still no sign of Bridget. So they're going to go ahead and check out the other caverns. Going to the west, they find a natural tunnel that bisects a ring-shaped excavation in the area. Niches along the north end of the ring hold nothing of interest, but there is a giant here. He's sitting cross-legged in the tunnel, a lit torch on the floor, and he is sharpening a stone knife. Initially, he does not notice them, but Karl and Haf, looking at this giant, I mean, the ogre was apparently the one who killed the militia folks, so that's good. Maybe this giant, we can negotiate with him. So Karl's going to step in to the flickering torchlight and raise his hand and says, hello, hey, we mean you no harm. We just have some questions. The giant, which is a Verbeeg, grabs his spear, stands up, points the spear at Karl, doesn't attack him yet, but is clearly menacing him. Karl's like, whoa, hey, no, it's okay. We're just looking for a girl. Have you seen a girl? And Karl describes his sister. This is going to be a compel to get the Verbeeg to talk to them. Haf is smiling encouragingly. That is a miss with a match. So I think that the Verbeeg is confused by what Karl is saying. He doesn't like being confused, so he just goes ahead and charges at them with the spear. This Verbeeg is a giant, so we're going to label him as formidable. This could be a messy fight for the two of them. On a weak hit on Enter the Fray, we're going to take a bump to our momentum, but we do not have initiative. The giant swings its spear at us in a clash, but we get a strong hit. We inflict our harm, and we inflict an additional harm from that strong hit, and we have initiative. We're going to go ahead and work together. We didn't want to fight this guy, but we pissed him off somehow. That match really screwed us up. So we're going to try to fight him. This is going to be a strike. We inflict our harm, but the Verbeeg is looming over us, smashes Haf with the butt of its spear. Karl manages to clip it on the thigh. The Verbeeg roars, turns around, and full-on stabs at Karl. On a clash, a weak hit, we suffer our harm as a formidable foe. This does 3 harm, but we manage to rally. I'm going to take health there in exchange for momentum. Karl and Haf coordinate together and turn the tide, securing initiative. They are going to strike together. As they strike together, the giant lowers its spear, fully stabs Haf, and then reverses it and strikes the butt into Karl. Karl stumbles back, loses the initiative. Haf is horribly injured, and our momentum is taking a hit. We are on the ropes now. Another miss on a clash. This is not going well for Karl and Haf. Karl gets grievously injured, misses on his endure harm. He is going to end up wounded. Their momentum, which started off pretty good, and I was really hoping would stay there so we could get a strong hit eventually, is just getting absolutely hammered. They're going to try to secure an advantage by maneuvering into the smaller caves where the Verbeeg can't go as easily. All right, we get a short-lived advantage, which is okay, a little bit of momentum, and then Karl and Haf are going to try to work together. I keep forgetting that Haf is giving us a bonus to clash these days. Finally, that's a strong hit. We'll take it. We'll take the initiative so that now we can end the fight. Another strong hit. Karl and Haf, maneuvering into the smaller cave, are able to hack away at the giant's legs. It falls to its knees, and then finally, Karl brings his axe right down on it, knocks it out. It slumps to the side, unconscious, maybe dead. Karl and Haf, breathing heavily, look around. Don't see anybody else here. Don't see any evidence of Bridget either. They're going to keep exploring this cave system and see if she's here somewhere. Be nice to interrogate that giant and find out what he knows. Maybe we'll see about that a little bit later. Going to the south, they find a bunch of burial niches. This 8-foot-high, 5-foot-wide passage has a dozen burial niches carved into its walls. These look like old bones and whatnot, not helpful for us. Going to the north, this is an ancient tomb. Carved steps on the south side climb 5 feet to this 10-foot-high, 15-foot square room, which has narrow natural exits in the east and west walls. In the middle of the room is a rectangular stone block 7 feet long, 4 feet wide, and 3 feet high. Pictographs on the wall of the chamber tell a tale of one tribe's journey through the misty mountains and across a perilous tundra. Well, we've already established we're not grave robbers, and again, no evidence of Bridget here. They're going to try to squeeze through the natural passage to the west. The frozen stream that we saw at the west entrance to this cave system ends at a 7-foot deep frozen pond at the back of a dark cave. Trapped beneath the pool's ice is a stone statue of a smiling young man, naked except for well-placed oak leaf, with his face turned towards the sky. Looking around here, again, no evidence of Bridget. They're going to go south. This is the frozen stream. The tunnel splits with one continuing to the north and another veering east. The stream follows the dark northward tunnel. Light from a distant fire is visible in the eastern tunnel, right? The light we've already found. So I think that we've explored this whole cave complex at this point. And unfortunately, no evidence of Bridget. We found the mead, which is good. We're going to try to interrogate this giant. We're going to try to tie him up first. I think this is going to be a face danger, because if they don't tie him securely, we might be in a fight again. Karl and Haf do their best to tie him up, but we got a miss, so the giant's not actually very secured. I don't think we know that at this time, as Karl throws some water on the giant's face and it kind of rouses. It scowls up at them, but is not immediately moving to attack. They've taken its spear away at least. So the two of them look at him. Karl says, all right, look, we don't want to fight you. I'm sorry, whatever I said upset you before. We're looking for a girl. He describes Bridget again, And this is going to be another compel. We've got to get this. I think I'm going to try to secure an advantage at this point. We're got to try to be nice to this giant. He's got some meat cooking. Maybe we'll carve off some meat and hand it to him, trying to indicate to him, look, we don't care about you. We just want to find out this information. All right, take +1 momentum on a weak hit. All right, better than nothing. Now we're going to do our compel. Fortunately, that is a strong hit. That's outstanding. We're going to take our bonus to momentum and get some information from this giant. Giant says, I'm Doug. Don't like that you hurt me. The people on the cart, the cold man took them. Carl's like, wait, what? What do you mean? What cold man? The cold man. He's got blue eyes and he doesn't wear a jacket. He's got a sword made of ice. The cold man told me about the mead, and then he said I can have the mead if they take the people. I was like, okay, well, that's good news and bad news. So we're going to mark some progress on finding Bridget because we at least know that the cold man took him. And I think based on this description, Karl is highly suspicious that this is Suffolk Caltro. He knows Suffolk was in the area with Torg's caravan. So it seems like Suffolk was doing some shenanigans to kidnap some people. Karl nods and says, okay, sorry about your mead, but we have to return it to the owners of Goodtown. You don't want them upset at you. You've lived here for a long time. We'll take the mead and you stay here and everyone will be okay. I think we're going to do another compel for this one. All right, well, that's a miss on that compel. So Doog is not down with that. He is going to lurch to his feet and try to take a swing at the two of them. I'm just going to resolve this as a battle because Doog is pretty heavily injured already. Getting help from Haf, the two of them manage to batter Doog's arms away, but Doog happens to whip out and kick Karl in the knee. He can't take any more damage there, so he loses some momentum, and on his endure harm, gets a strong hit, fortunately, so he's going to take a little bit of health for that. They manage to subdue Doog and knock him out. They're going to try to patch up a little bit before getting the mead out of here. So we're going to do a heal. We're going to take up to 2 health. That's good for a little bit of momentum hit. And they get the mead. So we found the mead. So we're going to mark progress on that. We're going to now roll it out of the cave and head back to Goodmead. On their way out of the Verbeeg's cavern, though, they see another Verbeeg approaching. A Verbeeg strides through the snow, approaching the mouth of the cave. Her misshapen face bears a too wide smile. She clutches a spear in one hand while using her other arm to cradle a wicker basket filled with bits of shiny metal. Doog, she shouts in common. You home? Well, this could be a complication. Karl and Haf have got these barrels of mead. They're going to try to stealthily get them out of here before this Verbeeg spots them. A face danger with shadow. On a weak hit, you succeed, but at a troublesome cost. I think this is stressful. Trying to get out of here. They're not sure what's going to happen when this other Verbeeg spots their unconscious partner. So they're going to roll these barrels the heck back to Goodmead. This is also going to be a face danger with iron. Trying to get these barrels through a couple of miles snow is no joke. And on a weak hit, I think that they are tired, worn out. A miss on endure stress lowers their momentum, but they finally managed to get the mead back to town. We're going to mark progress there. They also got some details about where Karl's sister is, so we're going to mark progress on that. And once they return to town, they get the mead back to the mead hall, and we'll see if we can fulfill our vow. All right, there's more to be done. Yeah, there's another Verbeeg out there that might be pissed at them, but on a fundamental level, I'm going to call this good because Karl and Haf have got to get on the road towards Dugan's Hole to try to track down Suffolk Caltro, who has apparently now kidnapped Bridget. We're going to mark that complete. We really can't form a bond with Goodmead. They didn't accept our finishing the quest. They think that we have more to do, so that's fine. We're just going to head on out, try to make camp along the way. Karl and Haf leave Goodmead and head down the road towards Dugan's Hole. They're going to make camp, and then hopefully once they get there, confront Suffolk and find Bridget. Thanks for watching.